Welcome back everyone to my another video. Today I am going to explain the Jungle Cruise movie. Jungle Cruise is a 2021 American fantasy action-adventure film directed by Jalmakal Sarah. So without wasting any further time, let's get into it. The forest that is being shown in this film, it is very enchanted. There are some hidden objects that people yearn to search. But it is not the piece of cake. Now movie starts showing such a man. That he came to this forest to look for that antique object. He is accompanied by the entire team. Agira was the name of that explorer. The thing that they were searching for was known Tears of the Moon. Now Agira and his team begin to search for that thing in the forest. Then forest plants attack them after being enlivened. He begins to shake them and smash them. Afterwards, Agira and his team's condition is worsened. Now a wild tribe passed through that place. Tribesman comes to them, witnessing their such condition. Agira pleads them to recover these men into life. Now tribesmen treat them. But Agira is evil-minded. He is still in thought of the Tears of Moon instead of thanking them. Agira was aware that these tribesmen belonged to this place. So they had also the knowledge of that thing. He asks the arrowhead of that place. But they don't give it. And why did they give? When nothing happens according to the will of Agira. So he perishes all tribesmen. And he takes the arrowhead. Consequently, Agira and his team are cursed. The tribal chief had cursed them. As they will continue to wander here forever. They will not get any place. If they move ahead, crossing the river Amazon, they will turn into the stone. Many years are passed in this way. Now the recent time is shown. Where Dr. Lily and his younger brother who is also assistant are at a place. Where Lily's brother is telling about the Tears of the Moon to everyone. Here it is known that it is a tree. It is such an old tree which is being searched by a number of the people. This tree is so beneficial that any disease may be cured, using its leaves. And the high-leveled medicine may be made. So everyone is in its search for it. We will have to reach that place, searching for its arrowhead. Here Lily's brother's speech and meeting are over. Now Lily moves upstairs where Prince is also there. They converse with each other but Lily is in hurry. And she moves upstairs stealthily where she finds a big box. When she opens that box then there is also a small box inside it. There is arrowhead of the Tears of the Moon. Prince notices her while running with this arrowhead. He stops her. Lily is swinging with ladder outside the window at that time. Prince threatens her that I will fall you down if you did not return my box. So she runs away to rescue herself after throwing the empty box towards Prince. Now she returns to her house with the arrowhead and her brother. Because they had come to attain this arrowhead. On the other side, Prince is infuriated while seeing that empty box. And he wants to make Lily and her brother arrest. Now their plan was to get the Tears of Moon, moving to Amazon forest. The scene turns and a guide named Frank is shown in the forest. He used to get a lot of money from the people, showing the beauty of this forest in his boat. One day, a man comes to him and asks his money. Which has been borrowed before some days by Frank. Frank says to that man, "How do I return money to you soon?" Frank does not return him money so that man locks Frank's boat engine. That man has also a parrot. Frank moves to that place where that man had hidden the key. Which had been noticed stealthily by Frank. Meantime, Lily is also approached there. Who had come here to ask from this man about the boats. Who had grabbed the engine key of Frank. Actually, this man was also renowned. Now Frank is also there so Lily considers him the same boatman. I am going to go of his boat. Because it is the office of the same man. But how did she know? That Frank is another person. Now a conversation starts between them. How much money will Frank ask to take them to forest? Then that man comes who would parrot. It means that who is the owner of this office. Lily gets angry, knowing the truth. And she forbids to go in the boat of Frank. Meanwhile, Frank notices the arrowhead of Tears of Moon around her neck. Now he was not going to let Lily go. So he attempts hard that Lily may sail with him. And he also offers her to take low amount of money as a fare. You will be on advantage. But Lily does not agree. Destiny takes a turn as a leopard appears there. All people escape from there in fear. But Frank lets it out bravely. Lily is very inspired, witnessing it. Now she decides that she will accompany with such a guide. Who is bold and fearless. Frank had taken his engine. So they both leave. But some people capture Lily even though the boat had not sailed. And they cage her while pushing. And they also cover that cage. Being wise, Lily unlocks the cage. and she hits those people's head with cage, kicking and covering their face. Now she flees. Actually, they were the prince sent men, who wanted to snatch that arrowhead from Lily. Knowing she begins to flee, crossing a high place. But she falls down. Then Frank is also reached there, and he assists her to rise up from the ground. He jumps into the water, asking her to accompany him. But Lily comes to the boat, crossing the water through rope sliding. Because she did not know how to swim. She used to be afraid from the water. Now Prince had also reached here while chasing Lily. He starts to fire his gun on this boat where Lily is present. He was shooting on Frank's boat, sailing in the submarine. But Frank protects himself and his boat from his firing, turning his boat. Prince also shoots 2 torpedoes from his submarine. But Frank moves his boat quickly and he evades from being shot by the torpedoes. As a result, Prince's own submarine is stopped there. They move ahead for their journey. But they stay at a place as the night falls. Frank catches some fish for Lily and his brother which they eat at night. Now Lily and Frank are talking, sitting upside of boat. That Lily's brother moves upside in fear. He tells that there is same leopard in the boat. Frank tells him, "Don't worry. It is my pet." Then Lily is infuriated, hearing it that Frank had dramatized the situation to call me in his boat. Contrarily, Prince is shown who enters a cave with the help of a rope. Then he observes Agira and his team there who had turned into stones because of that curse. But there is a trick in the mind of Prince. It is an evil plan. He knew that they had to cross the rive to escape from the forest. They turned into stones while crossing the river. Why did the river water sprinkle on them? He pours some of the river water drops on them. Then 2 snakes appear from Agira's body, which will work according to the order of Agira. So the prince says to Agira, "If you bring the arrowhead of tears of the moon which a girl possesses who came here, then I will also give you the petal of it. Because you are made of stones and cannot go thee easily." So snakes get agreed with it, pouring a few drops of water. And the place where Frank is crossing, that place is very dangerous. A great storm breaks out there. Their boat shakes even they feel it inside. Everyone begins to care about his life. Before it, the boat falls down with the waterfall. Frank sails his boat in an appropriate way. He rescues everyone's life. But the boat is badly damaged during this storm. Then Frank cuts some of the woods from there, stopping the boat there, and he begins to repair his boat. Then Lily is shown who moves into Frank's hidden cabin. There she finds a book, having the details about the tears of the moon. Lily comes to know, reading this book, that Frank is also searching for this tree. Suddenly, Frank arrives there. Then Lily says to him that you are also searching the tears of the moon. You have tried to get benefit from us. You may get it easily if you find it. Frank says, "No. It is not like this. If it was in the fate then it may have got many years ago by me. From that time I am searching for it." Then Lily says, "But it will be searched out at this time because I have the arrowhead of it." They hear a sound from the upside of boat. When they go to check, there are wild men who capture them. Here Frank begins to talk with them in their language. And he says to Lily, "I have said to them that they can keep us captive, because you and your brother are guiltless. So they may release you." But the savages do not convince with Frank. And they begin to talk. Then Frank tells Lily, "They are saying that give us the arrowhead of the tears of the moon. Then these people will let us go from here." But Lily says, "Not at all." But she is going to attack with those savage people. She lifts a spear. Then Chief of Savage speaks out. The plan of Frank has flopped. Then Lily comes to know that Frank had falsified everything, only to get that arrowhead. So she slaps Frank. Now the chief begins to clear the locations of map. "How will you have to go?" So Lily says to Frank, "Now I will alone move to that place. I will not trust you anymore." Then Frank explains him that you are a lone girl. You have your younger brother with you. How will you reach there without my help? Then Lily says, "Everything is credible." But Agira and his companions come there before she leaves, who are looking awkward. The same snakes are coming out of the mouth of Agira. There were also many insects on their companions' bodies. They have spears in their hands. And Frank begins to fight with them. Agira wanted to steal that arrowhead around the neck of Lily. No one knows that he may kill Lily. So a savage moves to another place on the bale plant while lifting Lily. And he falls all of them one by one while hitting them. But a man snatches arrowhead from Lily. He throws it to another man. But Frank moves to Agira because Arrowhead has reached to him. He begins to fight with him. But Agira and his snakes are also confronting Frank. They start to fight. At last, Agira snatches the arrowhead from Agira. Meantime, Agira shoots an arrow in his heart. As a result, Frank falls down. He throws this arrowhead to Lily. She catches it but feels sadness. That she sacrificed his life to rescue ourselves. Then the chief of the tribe says to Lily that Agira and his companions will not chase you if you cross that Amazon River. Because they had turned from there after turning into stone. So they will not move there. Then Lily with her brother crosses the river saying farewell to others. Where Agira and his companions do not get courage to reach there. Lily's brother also comes after her. When Lily is walking in that forest in the morning, she finds the body of Frank. At first, she is afraid, seeing it. But she knows after observing that Frank is still alive. But that spear is still stuck into his hard side. Frank says to Lily, "Don't be afraid. I may not get any harm. Because I am also cursed. I live and die in this way for the last 400 years. Lily pulls that spear out from Frank's heart with a jerk. Seeing it, Lily's younger brother is knocked out. Lily plans with the Frank that she will move to Tears of the Moon. The tribal chief had told her that it brightens till the time of lunar eclipse. Afterwards, it becomes useless. So they had to reach there as soon as possible. Lily leaves her brother to the tribesmen saying you are more secure with them. Here Frank begins to tell Lily everything. That I was also the team member of Agira. And we were searching for Tears of Moon because Aguirre's daughter was in critical condition. He wanted to get the flower of that tree. When tribesmen did not give him the arrowhead of that place. Then Agira destroyed everyone. And we had been cursed on it. It was me who lead them across the river and make them catch in the bushes. So they all turned into stone. While I am still alive, saving my life. Lily's brother also tells Prince under threats that where is Lily going now? So Prince starts to chase her, taking his submarine. But he meets tribesmen on the way. In which there is Lily's brother. And they are taking him for recreation. Here Prince stops Lily's brother and asks while captivating that. Where's your sister? Lily's brother tells him everything is being afraid. Now Prince moves towards that place while Frank and Lily had reached that place. The place that tree was nearer. Frank jumps into the water. He checks that the door to which this arrowhead is going to touch is under the water. He explains to Lily, coming there, we will have to go under the water. But Lily is fearing but Frank takes her downward while explaining. Now Lily starts to unlock that door but another door is stuck as her foot presses a stone. Prince is outside. Lily is confused. She could not breathe, coming outside. So Frank gives her expired air ventilation. Then a few fish appear there. Frank swims among them. So those fish may not attack Lily. So Lily nearly loses her conscience getting to rescue breathing. But she later unlocks the door while swimming. So the whole water starts to enter that door, leaving that place without water. After this, Frank and Lily both are restored. Before it, Frank and Lily enter this door. Or search that Tears of Moon, then Prince also comes into his submarine. Lily's brother is also imprisoned by him. He threatens Lily while pointing his gun on him. I will kill your brother if you did not return that arrowhead. Lily has to hand him over that arrowhead. Now they all enter that door together. As they witness that old tree then they know that it is dark and withered tree. It should have bloomed. Then they understand a fact. That it may be bloomed, using that arrowhead. Then Prince says to Frank that you have been living here for the last 400 years. So you had knowledge where will this arrowhead be stuck? So he says, stick it for me. Then Frank says that it will be on one condition. As I want to die while removing this curse over me. I want to die. Hearing it, Lily is saddened. Because she had started to like Frank. She did not want him die. Frank does not understand where this key will be adjusted when he goes to check it. He asks help from Lily. Then Lily says then I also need a flower of it. Prince says to him, no. There will be only one flower. You all may think who wants to keep that flower. Frank says to Lily, you can adjust the arrowhead. Also keep flower. Kindly kill me later. Because I want to get rid from this world. I want to die comfortably. Then Lily agrees and she also tries to adjust the arrowhead. But it is not adjusting anywhere. Then they recall that tribal chief had told them. There is the heart of snake in it. They break that arrowhead. Then a red pearl appears from it which was heart. They adjust it in the carved place of a tree. That tree begins to brighten. Pink flowers start to bloom. Seeing it, Prince's intention is wronged. Before it, he plucks all flowers. Frank begins to attack on Prince's men. He strikes his head with one of those men. And he begins to hit on those people's head and abdomen. Taking the advantage of it, Lily climbs up that tree. But the strange fact was this here, that there was only 1 minute had left completing the blood moon. This time is served in climbing that tree by Lily. The flowers start to wither as she is going to pluck the flower. And it disappears, turning into ash. In spite of it, Lily plucks one part of that flower. That is a small flower. The prince starts to shout, standing below the tree. "Give me this flower." But Lily throws the flower downward, which is caught by Frank. Witnessing it, Prince and Aguirre get furious. Now they are thinking as they will kill Lily. Because they had also deprived from the last chance. So Frank makes them chase while showing the flower. Frank sails away, taking his boat. Before it, Leopard drops Lily's brother there. A big rock falls on Princey before he comes after them. And he dies immediately. Now Aguirre is after Frank and his boat in aggression. On the other side, it is seen that Lily finds the same wrapped flower in the cloth, which had been given to Lily's brother by Frank. Lily comes very touchy on it as he makes the cruel people chase him to give us flower and rescue us. Frank's boat is crashed with the thing. Then all trees are enlivened. It is the same place where the people had already turned into stone. At first sight, all people are turned into stone, coming into the grip of the trees. Lily becomes sad when she sees it after coming here. And she touches her hands on Frank's face. But no change appears in him. Then her flower, for which she has struggled much, she places it into the mouth of Frank. But that flower has also disappeared. And Frank does not recover again. Then she begins to leave from here in pessimism, taking her brother. Frank's leopard is also seated there, sad and not uttering voice. Lily and her brother hears the voice of Leopard as they are leaving from there. Then hope emerges in Lily instantly, as there may be a life in Frank. She goes up to see Frank quickly, who is really recovered. His body was also bleeding now. It means that he had freed from the curse now. Lily embraces him and her younger brother is also very excited. Leopard is also with them and they all four start to leave that place happily. Then they glimpse as there is also one more remaining flower on that tree. Lily brings it in her country after plucking it. She prepares medicine, going there, which are famous. Now Lily and her brother are known throughout the world. In the end, it is seen that Lily is teaching Frank to survive in this new world. She is teaching him driving, and there is also their leopard on the back seat of car. They are enjoying while driving on the roads of London. The movie also completes on this scene. I hope you enjoyed this movie. If you liked the video, please give a